thankful for the privilege of gathering around these tables today in Rotary Fellowship to nourish our resolve to a deeper commitment to service. Please grant us gifts of insight and wisdom in the spirit of truth, fairness, friendship, and concern for others. We are grateful for this precious time together. Please let worries from our past and anxieties about our future fade away as we develop a vision to see life in all of its contrasts and diversities. Please help us choose to be happy by enjoying and loving life and helping others fill their lives with promise for a better future. Thank you for your special gift of today. Let us rejoice in it and invest today's time in worthy endeavors. Please bless our world with peace. Amen.
Please join me in the national anthem. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jeff, you must be a very popular person. We have a lot of guests today. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Tulsa. When I call the name of our Rotarian and his or her guest, we'll ask both of you to stand, please, for just a moment. When I've read the whole list, we will appropriately welcome you, and then we'll introduce to you our visiting Rotarians. First of all, Bill Winfrey has brought his wife, Terry Winfrey. Good. Rotarian Tim Caldwell has brought his wife, Patty Caldwell. We have a new member, Charlie Hembry, who's brought his wife, Betty Hembry. President Karen Keith has two visitors, Thomas Boxley with University of Oklahoma, Tulsa, and also Bill Strecker with the Bosque Incorporated. Okay. Rotarian Bob Jack has with him Larry Rooney of Manhattan Construction. Rotarian Steve Perkins has brought guest Jeff Wilkie of Hogan Taylor. Rotarian and past President Doug Collins has brought Carolyn, his wife. Rotarian John Maneely has guest Bob Weber from Oklahoma City. Rotarian Casey King has Keisha Holloway and Bruce Schneller, both from Doubletree Hotel. Brenda Melancon has brought with her Christy Frudenrich from Oral Roberts University. Rotarian and past President Chuck Wilson has guest Rick Farbrough. He's with Arthur Gallagher and Company. Rotarian Dustin Holder has guest Drew Martin from Sawyer Manufacturing. Rotarian Sandy Siegfried has brought guest Kirk Vanderslice of Stanfield and Odell. And Rotarian Will Smith has Trevor Hughes as his guest with Johnson and Jones. Would you please welcome all of our guests? We have special guests with our speaker today, Jeff Stava. They are Sandy Stava. Would each of you stand, please? Susie Stava, Saren Stewart, and Grant Stewart. Not here, okay. Thank you so very much. We're glad you're here. We have visiting Rotarians as well. From the Bixby Club, would you welcome Mickey Moore? From the Sunrise Rotary, past District Governor Tom Clark. From Midtown Tulsa, Steve Lassiter. And from Tulsa Sunrise, Rotarian Steve Reed. We say a hearty welcome to all of you, and we hope you will come and meet with us again.
So I said incredible about everybody in that lineup, with the exception of past President Matt Davis. So I got to say something nice about Matt. Here's something I'm really thankful for Matt. When some of our Rotarians that he knows have taken ill or had a fall or something, he is so good about going and checking on them, and I'm so grateful, and he keeps us informed about their health. So that is a sweet, sweet thing that you do, so you are also incredible. Our Rotary sponsor this week is our newest sponsor, Melissa Clark, WPX Energy. Melissa, thank you for all you do for this club. Where are you? Thank you, Melissa, wherever you are. And we encourage you to do business with your fellow Rotarians. Please let's thank all of today's sponsors and all of our volunteers. Thank you. We don't have any committee meetings today. That's all in honor of Jeff, I think. Announcements. On behalf of the club, I'd like to extend condolences to Marlene Livadeus, and she's here with us today. Thank you, Marlene, on the passing of her father, John, on January 8th. Services were this past Monday in Lawton. Cards are on your table for extending your sympathies to Marlene, and please keep the Livadeus family in your prayers. Tulsa Midtown Rotary wants to invite you to attend their Steak Out at Outback. This Rotary project benefits Tulsa kids. Steve Lassiter, would you stand up? Wherever Steve is, there he is. He's got some tickets if anybody's interested. They're $20, and it does help the kids of Tulsa. And we have some new members to present today. Tim Caldwell, please come on down and introduce Charles Hembry.
Well, President Karen, it's my honor and real pleasure to introduce our newest member, Charles Hembry. Charlie is owner of Magnolia Design, which is an interior consulting firm specializing in window treatments and home automation. Charlie has been in the interior consulting business for 25 years, and he founded his company in 1994. He and his wife, Betty, who's here with us today, live at 10707 South Nandina Court in Jenks. They have 2 daughters and 2 beautiful grandkids. Charlie is a native Tulsan and is a University of Tulsa alum, earning a degree in marketing and management from TU. His hobbies include hunting, gardening, travel, and music. Charlie volunteers with Habitat for Humanity and the Day Center for the Homeless. He's also an active member of First Methodist Church, where he serves on the mission board. And incidentally, Charlie and I, along with our fellow Rotarian Tom Byers, are going on a First Methodist mission trip to Honduras next month. Well, Charlie, I'm just thrilled to give you your Rotary pin. Please wear that proudly, and a copy of the 4-way test, which I know you already practice all those tenets. Let's welcome the newest member and the first member of 2014 to the Rotary Club of Tulsa.
And thank you, John Stava, for new member orientation. We appreciate that. Project announcements, Linda Bradshaw, the 4-way speech contest.
Thank you, President Karen. This afternoon at 5:30, I have the honor of being the Master of Ceremonies for our Rotary 4-way speech contest. We have 6 contestants. Our committee chair has done an incredible job. And this is going to be held at the Tulsa Arts and Humanities Center and Hardesty Art Gallery. That is located on the corner of First and Archer. We'll be up on the 3rd floor at 5:30, and I would especially like to thank Tim Lyons for providing visa cards for our competitors, and also to Spirit Bank for providing the refreshments, and to all of our judges who will be there this afternoon. Rotary Club of Tulsa, this is a wonderful thing that we do for the students. You have provided $2,000 in cash, which will be presented to the winners and also to the schools this afternoon. So if you don't have anything to do, the art gallery is going to be open from until 5 o'clock, free to all of our members. So join us, 3rd floor, at the AHA Center.
Yay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Linda. That's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. And John Raines, you need a little help, my friend.
Good morning, good afternoon. I'm here. Oh, excuse me. New Year's resolution was to lose weight, and I can't do that and talk at the same time. Next weekend, January the 24th, we're hosting the SCRI Youth Exchange students from all over the country, or almost. We host 200 children. We need 80 more to be hosted by this club. So the minimum is 2. They come in pairs, but you can take up to 10. They're a ton of fun. Fill up the car. I'm actually going to overflow and take 2 cars wherever we go. So we're going to take more than 4. And it is next Friday between 2 and 7. You can pick them up. You will be called. You'll be assigned boys or girls, whatever your request is. They sleep on the floor. They bring sleeping bags. They bring their own entertainment, which is their mouth. You really don't have to do anything but feed them twice, and they won't be hungry. But, you know, I got a lot of bling on. And this is from all the girls and boys that I've hosted over the years for one night. And you get a sense of a little bit of a relationship. So the last thing I want to share with you is there's sign up on the table. And I'm reading a book called Younger Next Year. It's a great book. Write it down, Younger Next Year. And some of the keys to being younger next year are to hang out with younger people, have a sense of purpose, which Rotary provides us all, and have great relationships. So here's your first key to a New Year's resolution to be younger next year. And the second one is weight loss.
Thank you, John. Tony Oliva, some sponsorship opportunities.
Well, good afternoon. And so we've made it to a new year. We've passed all the crucial holidays, and we've apparently made it through. So I want to make sure that everyone realizes there's still available opportunities as a sponsorship of the club. On the tables, there are forms and explanations of what the different levels of sponsorship are. If you have questions, feel free to contact me or Carl Vincent, and we'd love to help take care of you. Be a great way to help the club. So, and we do appreciate all the current sponsors and everything that you guys do for us. So, thank you.
Thanks, Tony. Miss Marty, have we got something for you?
Speaking of a sense of purpose, John, there's nothing like spending Valentine's Day in your sweet baby's arms. But how sweet would it be if you brought that sweet baby to a private party? And what if your mother thinks you are the sweet baby? You could bring her to a Valentine's Day party. And what if your sweet best friend wanted to spend the evening with you on Valentine's Day? You could bring him or her to a Valentine's Day party. Or what if you wanted to dump your sweet baby and come alone to a Valentine's Day party? And Karen, what if all of our Rotarian Club members here were all sweet on you and they chose to be with you on Valentine's Day?
Oh, Marty, I want us all to celebrate this day of love together.
Wow, what a sweet idea. Fellow Rotarians, I want to invite you to a Valentine's Day private party at the Woody Guthrie Center on Valentine's Day, February 14th. Bring a sweetheart, a loved one, a friend, even your mother-in-law, to a sweet event at really a remarkable venue. The Woody Guthrie Center, in my opinion, is the best museum, the most exciting place that Tulsa has to offer right now as far as a new venue. Please see me afterward. I have a brochure you can take home to your sweet loved one. And you need to RSVP soon. Maybe you'll have a sweet surprise waiting for you at the end of the day. See you.
Oh, boy. And we will get you fired up for this venue. In 2 weeks, you're going to find out all about it. So I think you're going to be fired up to want to go, just, of course, to be with us. That's going to be great. All right. Thank you, Marty, very much. Sarge, Janet Rockefeller.
Okay, I have a lot. I don't want to cut into your time, so I'm going to talk fast. Business, Tulsa World, section today, Yale Cleaners, 70 years. Congratulations. We love you, Roth Rocks. Okay. Okay, let's hit something. Yeah. Oh. Okay, I have. We'll just. There we go. Now that I recognize. Okay, Linda Bradshaw. I swear you were in the paper all the time. And when I talked to your daughter, she said she didn't think that you had a copy of this paper, so I brought you my copy. So wanted you to have that. So congratulations. Will Rogers High School Hall of Fame. That really rocks. Okay, the next picture. This is Doug Padgett in this race car. This is so cool. He paid $165 for going 165 miles per hour on a 24-degree banking at Texas Motor Speedway. I wish I had been there. I mean, that is really cool, popcorn and all. So thanks for the $165, and congrats on getting to drive that. Okay, next we have Phil. Oh, congratulations on 39 years of marriage. That's wonderful for $100. We'll take it. And Chuck. You're next, $20, you know what you did. Okay. Okay, and then somebody, I think did we miss Stephanie? Somebody told Stephanie Cameron that I was going to fine her for wearing her heels. She's paying $36 for the 6-inch heel, so yay, thank you. And then we have the Parent-Child Center. Desiree wanted me to be sure to let everybody know that the Toyland Ball is the 18th. It's at the Cox Business Center. She gave $60, and she's hoping to raise $600,000 for the Parent-Child Center. So let's all support her cause, and that's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Our Rotarian of the day is John Stava. John joined our club in May of 1990. He is the president of Stava Building Corporation, which celebrated his 25th anniversary in business this past year. And John is both a Club Foundation Fellow and a Paul Harris Fellow. Please welcome John Stava.
Well, you might know I'm very pleased to be here. It's an honor to introduce your son, it really is. Jeff is a product of Jenks High School, and Phil, Baylor University, go Bears. Jeff's always been a leader, and when he was in high school, he was nominated and voted on to be the senior patrol leader in his Boy Scout troop, which had 130 students. He was responsible for conducting the meetings as a high schooler. When he left his troop, he left as an Eagle Scout. His employment history, when he got out of Baylor as a operations management degree, he went to work for Lowrance Electronics. He was with Johnson Worldwide Associates in Racine, Wisconsin for a period of time, and then was recruited back to Tulsa to run a company called Outdoor Innovations. Outdoor Innovations was a manufacturer and marketing company in the fishing lure business. This was before he joined Tulsa Community Foundation. He is now the COO of Tulsa Community Foundation. And some of the projects that Jeff's been involved in are covert. He works behind the scenes. He has bought a lot and sold a lot of property and is largely responsible for the planning of the downtown area conversion, as well as the Guthrie Green. On the side, he's also largely responsible for bringing the BASS Bass Fishing Tournament to Tulsa, which was a wonderful asset for the city of Tulsa. As well as some of the other activities he's been involved in, he has been the chair of the Tulsa Industrial Authority and the Tulsa Airport Authority, which has recently redone the resurfacing of the main runway and built a large hangar up in the north part of the airport for the American Airlines. Of course, I mentioned Guthrie Green, but now, of course, he's working on something a lot larger, and the Gathering Place, which is an amazing effort on the behalf of the Tulsa Community Foundation and the George Kaiser Family Foundation, which he will bring more to you as time comes. I do want you to know that I am proud of all of my kids, but not for what they've accomplished, but for who they have become. Would you please welcome my son, Jeff Stava.
Thank you. Wow, that's the absolute best introduction I've ever had. I should bring him to all my speaking engagements. Thank you, Dad, very much. Today I'm going to talk to you. I've given this speech a couple of hundred times, but I really wanted to make this talk special to the Rotary Club of Tulsa. It's a great honor to be asked to come and speak to this club, one of the top Rotary clubs in the nation. I mean, at this speaker stand, president of my alma mater, Baylor University, Ken Starr, has stood. We've had governors, mayors stand at this podium. I've sat in that audience and watched a lot of people speak here. So it's a great honor to be asked to come and speak about this project. And it's really an honor to get to work at the Tulsa Community Foundation and the George Kaiser Family Foundation. I owe pretty much all of that credit, as much as begrudgingly as I have for that, to my good friend Phil Lakin. Phil and I have known each other at Jinx High School. We've known each other since Boy Scouts when we were 12 years old. We went to Jinx together. We went to Baylor together. I worked for him when he was president of our student body at Baylor. He's really a really good friend, and he's really pushed me to be active in the Tulsa community, and he's provided this position for me, and I owe a lot to him for that, because there's nothing better than serving our community, and I know Phil talked about that to you all a lot, but we both feel very passionate and excited about getting up in the morning, thinking about Tulsa, how to make Tulsa a better place as we go to put our head on the pillow, so it's a great honor. Today I'm going to cover, like I said, several different things that I don't normally cover. The first thing I'm going to talk about is kind of how did we get to where we are today, and why are we where we are today with this project. The second thing I'm going to talk about is the plan itself. It's hard to show the plan, so I've got a lot of really nice pictures and not a lot of words to talk about how really transformational this project will be. The third thing I'm going to do, which I didn't text the Tulsa world, but I'm going to be making a very large and important donor announcement in the middle of my presentation. So that'll be something unique and special for Rotary. And then the last thing that I'm going to do, and that I haven't done and talked about very much, is talk about the programming of the park. The park itself is great, and it's magnificent, and you'll be blown away. But what I really think you'll be blown away is how we're going to activate it and make it an important part of Tulsa's future. So let me get my little orientation here with my... So the gathering place for Tulsa is actually the idea of George Kaiser himself. In all of his travels and all of the work that he's done throughout the United States and through the world, he has always believed that Tulsa had lacked a central gathering place, a place for people to be together within the city. All great cities have places for people to gather, whether it's New York or Chicago, LA, San Francisco, Christie Fields, Balboa Park in San Diego, Millennium Park in Chicago, Central Park in New York. All those great cities have very large gathering places within them that help define what the city is about. So he really believed that that was a missing opportunity for Tulsa. And you know that the Kaiser Foundation's been very involved at trying to establish the river as an important development asset for the community. It's probably the most untapped asset that our community has. I mean, a lot of cities dig ditches and put concrete on each side of it to allow themselves to have a river. San Antonio, Oklahoma City. I can think of 3 or 4 others, but I won't. So we have this great river that runs through. Now, it isn't a flowing river. It's not like the rivers on the East Coast. It's a prairie river. So it is different, but it's still an important natural asset that runs and defines and has defined the way Tulsa has grown and how it is developed. So it's a very important asset. George we spent, since I've been at the foundation for the past 5 years, we've talked about this project, we've assembled land, and we've tried to define what this project would be like. And we decided about 4 years ago to set out and do an RFP, an RFQ, and send it worldwide. We had 96 firms from across the United States and the world who noted interest in this project. And out of those 96 firms, we netted it, we had about 43 firms that responded to the RFP with their qualifications. Out of that 43 firms, we asked 4 firms to present their creative to the foundation and a group of advisory board members to help us define what this project would be like and then select that architect firm. Michael Van Valkenburg and Associates is the firm that we selected. They by far blew away all the other firms in the creativity that they have for what they envisioned for that site. And I'll take you through this presentation. They have some magnificent work across the United States. They're right now doing the planning for the St. Louis Arch, the grounds and park with the National Park System. They've done the George Bush Presidential Library. If you've been to Dallas, you need to go by there and look at the grounds. Brooklyn Bridge Park. Brooklyn Bridge Park is by far the more similar to this project. And when I was doing the tours, I got into the Suburban to go back to the airport, and I turned to the guy I was with, and I said, this is the group that's going to come to Tulsa to design our project. And the reason is because that firm, they listen, they learn, they're not starchitects, they're actually listening and learning to Tulsans, and they help design this park to be a real asset for our community. The very big ideas that they had for this project were 2 very large land bridges that are able to link the Blair property, which is located right here, and the Sundance apartment complex and the Legacy apartment complex. And when I say the word land bridges, most people think like a bridge over a highway. And what these are is actually green bridges. They're 300 feet long, so they're the length of a football field. So as you can imagine, driving down Riverside Drive, this is what one of the land bridges looks like here. You'll have a 300-foot green land bridge that moves from one side of Riverside Drive to the other side of Riverside Drive, and there'll be 2 of them. One of them will be a passageway. The other one will have a garden on top, and I'll show you pictures of those later in the presentation. We're also going to have to raise the pedestrian bridge. The city, included in our Improve Our Tulsa package, is the money to raise the road and take the little dangerous curve out of it. And then also widen the lanes to 13 feet to allow a little bit more room for everyone that's driving 60 miles an hour. Me included. And then also putting a 16-foot tree-lined center median down the center of the roadway. You know, Riverside Drive's kind of had a storied past. You know, it had there was going to be a 6-lane highway basically linking South Tulsa to downtown, and that got stopped. Thank goodness it did. But there hasn't been any additional investment in Riverside Drive. Yeah, they patched the potholes, but there's no additional improvements to that road. With the Arkansas River and river parks and the improvements that have been made to river parks, it's time for Riverside Drive to become the kind of parkway along our river that Tulsa deserves. Make it as beautiful a roadway as the park is and as the river is. And so by opening this up and creating this tree-lined center median in this area of town, I think that'll really improve the aesthetics and make it not just a raceway, but make it a parkway. We're also, if you notice, taking the pedestrian bridge and salvaging approximately 60 feet of it and then widening it to 21 feet and then putting it back across the Riverside Drive. So you'll still have the aesthetics of the pedestrian bridge as you move through that area of town. This is what the land bridge looks like, and I put this slide in at this point because this is what Riverside Drive will actually be behind this berm and behind this row of trees, and it comes underneath this open lawn. This is the Great Lawn, which is sponsored by Quick Trip, and then this is the passageway over to the Arkansas River. The Arkansas River is behind this little opening here. And so that's what the land bridge looks like when you're in the park. So it's not really a bridge. You're not going up and over and down. You're actually moving at a very, very slight grade up and over. So it actually almost makes you seem like it's seamless between the Blair property, which we are standing now, and the Arkansas River. And that's a 300-foot spanned bridge between here and over in this area over here. And also notice these large berms that are built up along the roadway. On the model, you could see that these big berms shield the view of the roadway and also the noise of the roadway, because a lot of people don't want to see that when they're at the park. This is what the final schematic drawing is. It's very hard to see. I encourage you to go to our website after this presentation. It's agatheringplacefortulsa.com. You can see all the details of this. I'm going to go through all of the large illustrations, but this gives you an idea. This is the Blair property. This is the little sliver of land that the city and the county own that's currently a gravel parking lot. This is the Sundance apartment complex. This is our phase 2 of our project. And then this is the Legacy Apartments that we also own that's in a future phase of development. And then phase 1 includes all of the Blair property, everything on the east side of Riverside Drive down to 31st Street here, and then everything on the west side of the Riverside Drive as well. So quite a bit of work. There's 66.5 acres of phase 1 part of the project, and there's approximately just under 24 acres in phase 2 and phase 3. So the very first building that you'll see when you come into the park will be the Lodge building. And this building is named the Williams Lodge from the Williams companies. Alan Armstrong and John Williams actually, with the help of John Bumgardner, really believed that this project had the ability to be a game changer for our community. Very much like the building of the Williams Tower and the Green and the Performing Arts Center was for downtown back in the day. And they made an enormous donation, leadership gift of $16.5 million, which we announced 2 or 3 months ago. Tim Caldwell, if anybody from Williams is here, please stand up. These guys, leadership gift of $16.5 million. And John's here. Is John Bumgardner here? John Bumgardner's here and with Williams, and John was very instrumental in helping us with this. And this is the very first building that you'll see when you come into the park. It's a stacked stone building. You can see here, stacked rock, and it's got a large porte-cochere here with a circle driveway. This is the main entrance. So this is the first thing you'll see. It's the main entrance. It'll have a donor wall inside. It'll have a very large interactive donor system where you'll be able to see the various stories of why people feel this is important for our community. It allows the Kaiser Foundation to tell the story about why the vision of the park. It also has a very large community room that's located inside the lodge. It can hold about 225, 250 people standing up. For a sit-down dinner, it can hold about 125 to 150. It'll have a large fireplace. It's floor-to-ceiling plate glass windows. The building is very reminiscent of the National Park buildings. And the windows, I like large windows. So we've got floor-to-ceiling windows, and the architect has designed it so that it's sitting up high enough that it's actually at the level of where all the trees are. So it looks as if the trees are just coming right in to this room. It'll really be an unbelievable view outside of the lodge. Large fireplace, again, trying to make it like a living room, something comfortable. This building is open anytime the park is open. So if it's really hot outside or really cold outside, you can come and find refuge inside the lodge building. On the east end of the lodge is a food offering, and it's more or less, if you've ever been to a Shake Shack in New York, it's kind of a walk up and order, and then you wait a few minutes for your order to be ready, and then they call your order and you go pick it up. The food offerings will be healthy nutritional options like salads and wraps and such, paninis. It'll also have the pizza, hot dogs, and hamburgers, that the kids like, and French fries. So it'll have a variety of different offerings. It'll have this really large outdoor terrace area, and this is actually duplicated from a lot of the beer gardens that we saw in Germany. They just have a lot of open places for people to come and sit. So you might be sitting in a kind of a communal sitting area where you're not there by your family at a restaurant. You're actually in an open area with lots of different families and friends and people that you see. So really neat outdoor area. It'll also serve beer and wine. So the area is actually cordoned off so will be acceptable to ABLE laws, but it'll seat and accommodate as small as 100 people because we can cordon off different deck sets, and then it could be as large as maybe accommodating between 325 and 350 people. So pretty large terraced food eating area out here in this area, and this is on the east end of the lodge. I think something's happening to the, oh, there we go. Sorry about that. Something's wrong. There we go. Well, it's taking a minute to load, sorry. Okay. We're missing a slide here. Sorry. Can you manually do it? Because I don't think this is working. Okay, go back one. Sorry about this. Okay, one more. Okay, so those are the outdoor eating terraces. So the announcement I'd like to make is that the H.A. and Mary Kay Chapman Charitable Foundations is going to be donating $10 million to be the naming sponsor for the Adventure Playground. So if you'll advance the slide. This is going to be hard to present. Oh, it is loading? Oh, okay. There we go. The Adventure Playground is a 4.25 acre playground. And it's absolutely stupendous, and we're very, very pleased to have the Chapman Foundations as our $10 million naming sponsor for the Adventure Playground. We're very thankful. Thank you to the Chapman Foundations. If you'll advance the, can I advance them, or is it? Okay. The Adventure Play Garden area is really a lot different than the way most playgrounds are designed. Most playgrounds are designed between ages of 6 and 12, and they just kind of hope that the really small kids can engage and play with the playground, and then the older kids, you know, once they play on it a couple of years, they kind of get tired of that playground. So our Adventure Play Garden area is enormous. I mean, over 4 acres, and it's got little rooms. So we have the Enchanted Forest, which is for ages 2 to 5. We've actually broken that out. We have a small kids area, which is for 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds. Everything that's designed for that area is really, really small and low to the ground. So for the area for 2 and 3-year-olds, everything's 12 to 18 inches off the ground. And as you progress in age, things get taller and taller. So 3, 4, and 5-year-olds, everything's 3 to 4 feet off. And it's cordoned off in areas where there's landscaping that kind of divides these areas up. So it's not like one giant open playground like you would typically see. And this really helps. There'll be seating areas for the parents of these smaller kids, and you won't have older kids running in and running through, so the parents are all, you know, real worried. They'll actually be able to relax and let their kids really explore and play in the Enchanted Forest area. There's also the Skywalk Forest, which is in this lower area. This is a lot of inspiration came from the city museum in St. Louis, which has unbelievable catwalks that are, you know, 50, 60, 70, 100 feet in the air, but really high adventure type play experiences for those 6 to 12 and older. I actually can't hardly wait to play on them. And then it has a really neat water mountain area, water play engagement area. We've spent the last 5 years going to children's museums and parks across the nation, and we have 2 elements that we've brought to this playground that are not typically found in playgrounds. One is a water play area where the kids actually have to exert physical, they have to actually do something in order to get the water play area to perform. For instance, there's gunnels with dams, and they have to actually turn cranks to get the dams to close, and then it raises the water. There's lower pools that they can raise water to upper pools with an Archimedes screw. So there's a lot of, and then there's pumping action that they have to do to get the water to spray out. So again, a lot of physical exertion. It's not just spraying and they're running around having fun. They actually have to figure something out, turn a knob, move a handle in order to get the water to engage with the water. The other area that's really neat is called the Ramble. And the Ramble is also derived from the Children's Museum. It's educational. It's experimental. it's kind of things that kids would have to go up to and play with. For instance, a kaleidoscope. The use of a lot of holograms that are in the trees that when the wind blows, it throws colors out all across the ground. A lot of different mirrors that contort the body different ways, like you'd see in the old-time circuses. One of the neat features also is a really large 1,200-pound rock that's suspended on its pivot point on an axis with ball bearings. And so the kids can go up to it and move it. They can feel the heft of it as they turn it. So really a lot of neat engagement type areas. They'll also be in the largest, oldest tree on the property, which is just outside this area right here. There'll actually be a story time area where we'll have people that will be telling stories for the kids, and they'll have little seats that are 12 and 18 inches off the ground that they can sit and listen to stories. So just a lot of customized play experiences for kids. This is Mist Mountain. This is immediately to the west side of the lodge. This is a really neat fountain area and kind of a garden area. It's a water garden. It has lily pads inside and koi. There's 3 large ponds here that are all connected underneath this walkway. And you take the walkway up to the very top of Mist Mountain to the top, and there's a giant water feature at the very top. We've hired the fountain designer who designed the Bellagio fountains. And he's actually designed a 21-inch water cannon that can shoot a stream of water in a perfect cylinder up and over these walkways and alongside these walkways. And so it'll look like the water's moving from the lower ponds all the way up Mist Mountain to the very top and then into that main water feature. So really kind of a neat something really neat to watch and to be around. Also sitting out in this area on this lower level right here, there's a coffee shop and there's also a ice cream shop. So, and then there's a lot of tables and chairs. You can see some of them here, but there's tables and chairs all over this east end the west end of the lodge where you can sit and relax and enjoy the water garden. Behind the water garden is a children's play area. And I don't know how many of you all have been to Guthrie Green, but we have 3 fountains on the west side and 1 fountain on the east side. We always knew that the fountain on the east side would be really, really attractive for kids, and they'd want to run through it. We had no idea that we'd have 150 kids on Saturday in August trying to squeeze into a small space and play. So we've created a water garden, water play area behind Mist Mountain that's about 60 by 40 feet. And what's really neat about it is the same designer that designed the Bellagio fountains is designing these water walls that will create a maze. And so the kids can run through it. And just when they think they've kind of figured out the maze, the computer system will drop the walls of water and remake it up and send them back up again. My black lab would love to run through that. But it'll be really neat for kids. It'll also have, if you've seen at Guthrie Green on the west side of the park, we have 3 fountains. One of them has a kind of an atomized mister. It almost looks like fog. In fact, when you look at it, you almost think, oh my gosh, it's steam or it's fog. And you went over there, and it's actually mist. We've created this really large valley filled with mist. And then we have shots of water that come up and over, and the kids can put their hand in one shot of water, and then another one starts back up. So a really fun, engaging water play area on the backside of Mist Mountain. Immediately west of Mist Mountain is the Blair Pond, and this is a 4-acre pond. And a really neat feature, again, if you can't notice, we're creating a lot of places for people to go and be either with lots of people or by themselves. And we have these large picnic terraces that jut out into the Blair Pond. And these can be rented or reserved, reserved. One of them even has a really large fire pit in it. So, we can have roasted marshmallows in the evenings. We can have the staff bring that out. The kids can all gather around. We think about telling, nighttime stories, maybe scary stories, maybe fun stories. But, this will be areas that will have a lot of programming and engagement. As you move across the Blair Pond, you'll have an iconic bridge that you'll actually cross. And moving across from the adventure playground, which is over here on the right side, to the Great Lawn and the boathouse, the one-up boathouse on the left side. This will be the Great Lawn view, which I've already showed you. So this, as you cross the bridge, this would be on your right side. And then on your left side, you'll see the boathouse. And the boathouse is the second building and it is sponsored with a $10 million gift by One Oak. If there's anybody from One Oak here, if you all could please stand. There's no one, but we're really appreciative of One Oak. Thank you all very much. The boathouse gets its name, of course, because there's boats, and there's a dock that sits right on the edge of the pond. And so you'll be able to rent canoes, ocean kayaks, and paddle boats. There's a large community deck across the top, so anyone can go up to the top. It has unbelievable views of downtown. It has movable furniture, again, trying to create the kind of atmosphere where people can just come and be. And there's food venue. You can walk up to kind of, again, a ordering spot where you can get kind of park food. And then also in the back of it, in the back of the One Oak Boathouse, you also have a full-service restaurant. So, and it'll have a full-service bar, tables to sit down. So it'll have a great views all of downtown and of the Arkansas River on the west side. The top of the project is this swing garden. This is 55 feet taller than the current grade at the Blair House. So again, you can't really see in these pictures how much the topography changes in this whole area, but it changes quite a bit. On the top of Swing Hill is a swing garden, and it has swings for toddlers all the way up to young adults. The young adult swing has a 16-foot travel on it, so a real neat swing. But there'll be about 15 to 20 swings on the top of that hill. There'll also be picnic areas as well. And you can see here in the foreground, you can see the great lawn as you look to the downtown skyline. On the top of the southern land bridge is the Sky Garden. Every great park has a great garden. This garden is actually on the top of Riverside Drive. There's really large berms on each side of the land bridge that prevent you from seeing or hearing the traffic. But we'll have a lot of native plants and trees. There'll always be flowers and color up in this area. Also, as you move down south towards the Sundance Apartments, this is actually built on the city-county parking lot. It's the Four Seasons Garden. We've borrowed these cliffs. Our landscape architects were really, really enchanted with Chandler Park and with the eastern part of Oklahoma, as we get into the Ozark Mountains. And they really wanted to bring kind of the cliff area into that area, and primarily because it was a tough area to design because it's so narrow. You have a neighborhood on the east side, you have Riverside Drive on the west side, and this kind of provides a real cool, shaded area that's, sun's blocked and the noise is blocked by these cliffs, but a great place to take a walk. And then on the west side of Riverside Drive, south of the pedestrian bridge, will be an in-ground skate park. We brought in about 45, 50 kids from all throughout the city to help us design this skate park. It's going to have some really neat features, and it'll be one of the preeminent skate parks in the United States when it's completed. Skate parks are real popular in New York. ESPN, X Games does a lot of filming at the one that was designed in Hudson River Park. Program activities basically fall into these 5 categories: cultural, arts and crafts, physical activity, nature, science and gardens, and yearly events and festivals. One of the things that we did when we did the programming was we're not trying to take the best of Tulsa and move it to the gathering place. We've really focused on creating programming that is unique and special to the gathering place that augments what's already being done in Tulsa. If we have some events and people want to move it, or they want to move some activities and programming, we're all for that. But that's not the intent of what we've done with our programming. We also expect to be working with all the nonprofits and many of the for-profit companies in Tulsa that engage in programming and outdoor activities. So to bring them on site and use their expertise and their knowledge to help us with the programming activities. So the cultural, there's just a million things on the cultural things that can be done. Music performances, storytelling, speaker series, Native American cultural programming, German, African American, Hispanic, all types of different cultural programs. When you go to a lot of cities like New York or Chicago, those are the kind of programming things that you see. And we're just now starting to bring those to Tulsa through Guthrie Green. So a lot of different, here's a picture of the storytelling, which we think is really important, book reading, and we want to partner with the library and have mobile book carts in our park, so kids still have engagement with books and storytelling. Arts and crafts. Arts and crafts are really important. Being able to use for kids and for adults, being able to use your hands and your creative interest. Drawing, crafts, weather-related art, local art exhibits, bringing local artists in for art fairs, boat building, kite making, paper airplane making, all things that kids love to do. But they'll be all programmed here. A lot of kids just don't have the access, so this will be an opportunity for them to have access to that type of programming. You can see the looks on these kids' faces of things that they've created and how excited they are. And then physical activity. You can't build a park without physical activity. We have about 8 miles of new trails that will be put into the park, so there'll be a lot of opportunities for running clubs, for bike clubs, having parades with kids. Whoops, I pushed the wrong button. Parades with kids, like this bike race that these kids had in New York. You can have a lot of parent-baby yoga, the skateboarding clubs you can have there. So just a lot of things. We can have tug-of-war contest on the Great Lawn, kayaking, and teaching kids how to boat on the pond itself. So a lot of great activities. More physical activity, that you can have as well, or organized sports. We have sport courts that are on the south end of the project, so we can have tennis, we can have basketball, street hockey, all sorts of different activities. A lot of nature and science types activities too. Bird watching, stargazing, garden tours, weather workshops, fishing in the pond itself. We might even host the Bassmaster Classic there in future years. So a lot of engagement in nature, science, and gardening. A lot of things are revolving around insects, and there's a lot of bats in Midtown, as you know. So there's just a lot of opportunity to create really fun and exciting events, which leads us to festivals. Again, like I said before, we're not trying to carry over all the festivals that are currently in Tulsa, but we could create new festivals like a Cowboy Day, maybe a Native American Day, Hispanic Cultural Day. There's all sorts of things that we can do to celebrate the beginning of spring, the fall solstice. So creating events that are unique and different that aren't currently celebrated can be celebrated within the park itself. So that is my very quick, and I got you all out quite on time. That is the very quick thumbnail kind of tour of the park. It's an exciting project. It's a $350 million project. And that includes $50 million for the land, approximately $30 to $40 million in public infrastructure improvements, and then the balance coming from the Kaiser Foundation and for other donors in our community. So it's quite a project. We expect to begin construction wholeheartedly in the fall of 2014. We expect to finish in the fall of 2017. And things are really actually already happening down there. PSO has dug 2 tunnels underneath the Arkansas River and is moving the electrical off. The pedestrian bridge, we're working with all the other on-site utilities and the city to getting the stormwater and such. So things are already beginning, and there's a lot of things underway, but you'll see in earnest construction start in the late summer and early fall of 2014. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them after the presentation's over. Maybe I could take a few now. So yeah, I'll stick it. Security and liability, that's a really good question. We're actually in the midst right now of working on the structure for the park. We're contemplating a gift of the park to River Parks, and then signing a management and service agreement for 99 years, then back to the Conservancy, which would actually manage this park and would manage and program Guthrie Green. So again, leveraging river parks because they're already an established and known park management entity along the river. So that's a good question. Security-wise, we will have, we're working right now with a consultant to identify closed-circuit television camera positions, also determining whether or not we need call boxes. With everyone carrying cell phones these days, call boxes are not as needed. So we're kind of making those evaluations right now. And then we'll, of course, like we do with Guthrie Green, we have anytime, as soon as the sun goes down and as soon as the sun rises, all during the nighttime, we have on-site security at Guthrie Green. Most people don't know that. And then during any event. So we're looking at patterning that same type of security for the park as well.
On a nice day, no doubt there'll be hundreds, if not thousands, of people enjoying the park.
Yes.
Is there parking included in the project?
Yes, there's on site, on the Blair site itself, there's 300 and almost 60 parking places that wrap around the backside of the park. There's 100 parking places over here on the southern edge of the project, and then 40 parking that are on Riverside Drive. They're little offshoot parking lots, very similar to what's at 41st Street. And then in phase 2, we have an additional 150 to 175 parking places. So there'll be a net increase in the area of approximately 440 parking places. I will tell you this, Tulsans have an infatuation and love for parking. We have programmed nearly 8 parking places per acre, and any other park that's been designed in the most modern times within the last 30 years has about 2 parking places per acre. So we will have plenty of parking, but not enough parking. Parking will still be a struggle, I assure you. It's a struggle today, and it will continue to be a struggle. We are working with MTTA. When we straighten out Riverside Drive and take the dip out and straighten the road out, we'll be able to get buses up and down Riverside. So we're in concepting, trying to put a bus that would come from downtown up Riverside, up 31st, and connect with the high-speed rapid transit system that's going to be coming from the north side of Peoria down to the south side of Peoria. So again, we're trying to create other ways for people to get down to the park. We're also taking a lane out of 31st Street. That lane, the traffic numbers have been gradually declining. So we could do a road diet, shrink the road to 3 lanes, center turn, 2 traffic ways, and then a bike and pedestrian lane along 31st Street to be able to funnel people in for these 4 or 5, 6 square miles that are behind the park to, again, encourage pedestrian and bike traffic. Good question. Yes, sir. Tom.
What's the first phase of the project that you'll start?
The first phase will be phase 1, which is the Blair site, the city-county parking lot here, and everything on the west side of Riverside Drive down to 33rd Place. And that will start in the late summer, early fall of 2014. Yes, the long-term planning would be to link the gathering place with Brookside. It is a very difficult road to doing that. The city, as many of you all may know, for the last 15 years has some money out of one of the sales tax issues to buy some of the right-of-way in Crow Creek. Crow Creek is one of the only remaining creeks where actual individual property owners own to the middle of the creek. And the creek is moved, so some of the owners on the south side of Crow Creek own all the way across the creek into the fence line of their neighbor. So it is a very complex acquisition objective, but it would be great to be able to link those 2 areas together.
Would this be a magnet for addicts and mentally challenged homeless?
I think that any place in Tulsa where there's not high activity is a magnet for that group of people. I think that with the eyes and ears and people that will be on the park and in the park during the day, plus the nighttime security, I think we'll be able to really work hard to have a safe environment for all of Tulsans to enjoy the park. So the George Kaiser Family Foundation has committed to backstopping the operations, maintenance, and programming for the park, just as we do with Guthrie Green today. We have a lot of sponsors that sponsor various events and things that help augment, but the Kaiser Foundation spends between $770,000 and $800,000 each year to program and maintain and operate Guthrie Green. It will follow the very similar thing for the gathering place. That's a great question. I met yesterday for 2 hours on that. It will more than likely be all opened at one time. We will have a lot of heavy dirt work equipment, and a lot of the phasing will start with the roadway first with the city, and then our concentration will be on the biggest part of the effort, which includes 2 buildings on the Blair site, and then working with the county to do the bump outs here in the river as we extend out into the river. So there's a lot of work that'll be done, and I hate to say this, but Riverside Drive will kind of be a pain to drive. And it will also be very difficult to keep the trails and the pedestrian bridge open too. So there'll be a lot of patience required for 3 years, but I can promise you when it's done, it will make up for all that pain. That's a good question. Dan Buford is responsible for the house, and he's got a study, and he's trying to get through how that's all going to work.
Hey, Jeff, we're all asking challenge questions, but just to, from my standpoint, this is the most exciting thing I've seen in years at Tulsa, and you all are to be congratulated.
No, thank you. Thank you all very much.
And our book today that goes to Celia Clinton is, oh my gosh, The Gathering Place is the most incredible thing that's ever happened. I need you to sign it. All right. Our upcoming programs, Congressman James Langford will be here next week, along with our four-way speech contest winner. And don't leave yet. Just look over your shoulder. Dina McLeod is the executive director of the Woody Guthrie Center, and that's coming up. This week's Mystery Rotarian. With an eye to the sky, Rotary's own member of the 67F Troop, determined to fly, and he did just that at the Hallmark Academy. And what a pose as he climbed into the cockpit. Here is our own John Stava poring over the charts to make sure he knows where he's going and will find his way back. His buddies are confident that pilot John Stava will make them proud as he finished his jet pilot training in March of 1967. Special thanks to Sandy Stava for coming through with the photos. You don't bring him to me, I'll go get him. Okay, with that, we will close this Rotary meeting. Have a great week, and thank you again, George Kaiser.